Hi friends, happy first Friday in March. I am making this video for you because I love you and I love myself so very much, and I don't want to be in pain and suffering and living through the emotional roller coasters that we sometimes and often live through. And when you learn, you want everybody to learn. You want everybody to know what you know after you've learned it. It's exciting, actually, to go through your healing, to come out on the other side okay, and to stand with a testimony for others like, hey, I know that happened, but it's not over. It's not over. There's so much more to enjoy, to do, to learn, to create, to build upon. It's not over. It's not over. So, here are some tips and tricks that I'm practicing. Okay, you can borrow it if you want to. Maybe you have your own method. Maybe your method is a little more effective than my method and you want to share it. Like, I want that. I want that very much. So if you have any suggestions or anything to add, please feel free. One of the things that happens is that there's a difference of political opinions in the place where I work. And often, some people are spewing their TikTok propaganda. And I don't want to hear it. I don't want to talk about it, Susan. Option 1. Hold on a minute. I'm sorry. I really have to use the bathroom. I'm sorry. I have to step away. Forgive me. That's the easy one. I got a turtle head poking out. Can't listen to you, Susan. Gotta go. It might work. This is in case, you can't be as honest as you want to be. Okay, option 2. Time out, Susan. Time out. I appreciate that we live in a place where everyone is free to their opinion and free to voice their opinion. May we always enjoy the freedom of how we feel and to express all that. However, I don't have time for that right now because we are at work and I have work to do. So, no, thank you. Or, option 3. Bitch, why are you talking to me? That one won't go over well. That one won't be a good one. No. It's Susan, or whatever your name is. I don't want to talk about this. Okay? I have a strong boundary about this, and you and I have very different opinions, and this is not the place for us to debate it, and it's not something I want to talk about because it's so different from how you feel that there aren't enough hours in our workday, and it's not appropriate behavior for the workplace. But let's say that happens and you're not at work. Let's say you're at a friend's house or a family's house. And let's say it has nothing to do with, let's say, politics or not being able to talk about things at work. Let's say it's something, that you just, I'm done. I'm done with this. Let's say it's gossip. Oh, gossip. I love me a little gossip. Tell me more. I want to know. But, there's a spiritual lesson in not gossiping. Not gossiping. What can I say? When you open up your heart and you allow yourself to be a deeply feeling person, because it's not easy to be a deeply feeling person, a lot of people become uncomfortable around a deeply feeling person. And I have always been an empath. My whole life, I can feel, and no one around me growing up knew how to hold that or how to nurture that. That was always like, stop crying. Why are you crying? And when I was off daydreaming, I could be standing here with you and I'd be off. Still happens to me. A lot of people don't know how to handle that. They think that, like, I don't know, you're an airhead or... Anyway, what I want to say about that is to be a deeply feeling person is beautiful. And you shouldn't want to make that go away. And you shouldn't ever feel, shouldn't. I don't want you to feel like you have to change that about you. Because I think that that's a really beautiful trait. And I've learned that that's a really beautiful trait in me. And it wasn't always appreciated or wanted. But now that I'm starting to understand it more, I want you to have that. I want you to have deep feelings, because this is a full life. You know, it's all of it. It's the good, the bad, you know, the ups, the downs, all of it makes a whole life. Every single part of it is like a chapter in a book. Every experience you've had, every learning lesson, every, you know? So to be a deeply feeling person is a beautiful thing. And I'd like for us to reprogram in our own minds that to have deep feelings, to have empathy, to feel sadness and anger for the state of the world, that's healthy. It's actually really appropriate to not be doing so well right now because of the way the world is looking and feeling and turning. And my last piece of advice, because sometimes, like, I how do you say? I go off on tangents and I forget what I was saying. And I suppose that's what channeling, that's what channeling does. It kind of sends you something else, some other part of you takes over. And anyway, this is the piece that I've been trying to really master for myself, and the part that I'm so excited to share with you. And it's not something that you can fake, because I've practiced. I've tried to fake it. I've tried to, like, fake it till you make it. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It requires practice, true, honest practice in your steadiness, in your emotional steadiness, in your emotional capacity to hold, like, all that you are, and not judge yourself and not hate yourself, and to be like anchored and grounded and 10 toes down, trusting yourself, believing in yourself, knowing yourself. It takes that, and all of that takes a lifetime, you know, your whole lifetime, something that you're working on, or something that you are, you know, always, it's always happening. Okay, there's plenty of practice for it through experience, but it's definitely not something that you can fake. Okay, when you know yourself, when you trust yourself, when you believe and you act and live as you believe, you feel it in your soul, no one can take you off track. No one can knock you off of your path, because you know yourself. So when people, wherever, at work, at home, in friendships, on the street, complete strangers, when people are disrespectful, when people try to trigger out of you an emotional reaction rather than an intentional response. You know, when people want to, they're not interested in dialoguing or engaging. They're kind of like, whether conscious or unconscious, they're trying to pull you. They're trying to get you on their level. They're trying to get you to see things as they see them. But you can't be swayed because you know too much, you know the truth, and most importantly, you know yourself. So for those people, I'm practicing this. And then turn away. When they finish speaking, just turn away. If it's a statement they've made, move on. Move on from the statement. If it's a question they've asked, you could say, no, thank you. I'm not interested in this conversation. And then turn away. Because when you turn away, you put up a boundary. And that boundary is yours. It's for you. You cannot control the craziness, the chaos, the nonsense that spews out of people's mouths, unfiltered. You can only control, sometimes, this. And so I put the boundary, and I remember who I am. And I remember that a reaction can cause me to anger, and that anger is an emotion that fractures. It can shift your reality. You think of like something that someone does in the heat of the moment, and everything gets shattered. And to pull all of that back together, no. You can't undo that kind of damage sometimes. So a reaction can ruin your life. But an intentional response, I guess, could have its consequences too. You know, if you're like premeditated in your harm and in your wrongdoing. But the kind of intentional response you and I are talking about, it's like, how do I face the nonsense? How do I put a limit on this person or on this interaction, on this conversation that leaves both me and them intact? I say nothing. I don't respond with a big emotion. And I am sound. I haven't let you in, and I haven't given away my power. I haven't thrown everything away because of how you made me feel. I'm intact. And perhaps that serves the other person because your silence gives them a chance to hear themselves. Your silence and your listening makes them realize, oh, I don't have to say the most outlandish, crazy, wild, ridiculous thing to get attention. I have Adriana's undivided attention. She's listening to me. So I don't have to be that way. And lastly, you let people know in a really powerful but respectful way that no, that's not gonna fly here. And not engaging has been really hard for me. Like it's hard for me to show up in places, especially at work, and hear people say the most racist and just, ugh, it's hard. I really want to speak up. I really want to say, like, I want to change their life. I want to change their perspective. Who am I to change anybody's perspective? Who am I to change anybody's life? And why would I put myself in a position to possibly be offended or offend? I've had my heart broken. I don't want to break anybody's heart. I've had my heart broken. I don't want to have my heart broken again. And while that's not always in our control, because something is always moving, right? You always have to hold two truths. This is just the way that it is. Then I want each day to become more meaningful. I want to find ways to really savor the moment, because I know how quickly something can fall apart. And I know that when something falls apart, you could be stuck in that muck for so long. And it steals your precious time and energy, while you could be recreating, reinventing, restarting. Because forgiveness is possible, if you give yourself that chance. And forgiveness is also, just like boundaries, it's not for them, it's for you. And so with a full heart, having experienced a really good life, but maybe some tough stuff, I can say, I don't want that anymore. I don't want to live inside that bubble of suffering anymore. And I know that I'm right. I know that I'm right. But what is the value of being right if you're not happy? What's the value of being right if you are miserable inside of your righteousness? So, it can take a time. It can take a long time. Or it can take no time at all. But the invitation is to be inside of this conversation, this dance with life, where you no longer react, but you give yourself the chance to respond intentionally or be silent, and to recognize that your silence is power, and to create from the heart. From here, it takes time. It takes time to get all these systems in line. It takes time to bridge this material, physical, human experience with what the divine has in store for us. It could take a minute to get all the stuff of life in line to match up with the stuff of the divine, and to make it all flow and be cute and pretty. But it's also delusional of us to think that we'll never have a problem, or that we'll never have a run-in, or that we'll never have little hiccups. And so I hope this kind of testimonial video gives you some inspiration and some ideas around creating a better way for yourself, because you deserve it. Okay, thanks. Bye. Thank you for being here. Sweet sister.love. Share with a friend.